Read. A.
In 1866, something that looks like a huge sea creature causes serious damage to ships, so the American government decides to send a warship to catch it. The French scientist Dr. Pierre Aronnax, his servant Conseil, and the harpooner Ned Land join the expedition. After days at sea, they spot the creature near Japan, and while trying to catch it, the three men end up in the water. They swim for hours until they find something hard and climb onto it. They think it's the sea creature. However, they discover that the creature they have been looking for is not a living creature, but is actually a highly advanced submarine. The three men are pulled inside, and the captain of the Nautilus, Nemo, treats them as guests, but says they are not allowed to ever leave the submarine. They then begin a long underwater journey from the Pacific to the South Pole via the Mediterranean and Atlantic. Along the way, they hunt in an underwater forest, visit the lost city of Atlantis, and go inside a dead volcano.
B.
I looked out of the window of the Nautilus and saw what my companion, Ned Land, had been looking at. A sea monster worthy of myth and legend. Its 8 long tentacles were twice as long as its body, and its mouth was like the beak of an enormous parrot. It was swimming at great speed and staring at us with its enormous green eyes. I tried to control my horror and took out my sketchbook. This was an excellent opportunity for a marine biologist. Suddenly, the Nautilus stopped. A minute passed, and Captain Nemo, followed by his lieutenant, entered the room. I hadn't seen him for some time. I heard them talking about the monsters. "Have we struck anything?" I asked.
"No, Monsieur Aronnax. I think one of the giant squid is entangled in the propeller."
"What are we going to do?"
"We are going to fight them man to beast," he said.
"Man to beast," I repeated. Captain Nemo gave the order to rise to the surface. About 10 men with hatchets headed towards the central staircase. I took a hatchet, and my companion, Ned Land, grabbed a harpoon. As soon as one of the sailors at the top of the ladder opened the door, it was pulled off with great force. Immediately, one of the tentacles of the squid slid down into the opening like a giant snake. With one blow of his hatchet, Nemo cut the tentacle off the squid. Then we all rushed out. What a scene! By the time I got outside, one of the beasts had grabbed a sailor in its tentacle and was throwing him around like a feather. He struggled, but it was no good. I will hear his cries for the rest of my life. Captain Nemo and his lieutenant threw themselves on the beast, but it shot out black liquid and we were blinded for a moment. Enough time for the monster to disappear along with the sailor. 10 or 12 squid attacked the sides of the Nautilus, and we fought them as best we could. Suddenly, I turned around and saw Ned on the floor. He had been fighting bravely until a tentacle knocked him over. A squid was ready to cut him in two with its beak. Luckily, Nemo rushed to his rescue and hit the beast with his hatchet. After a quarter of an hour of fighting, the monsters left us at last. Captain Nemo, obviously exhausted, gazed at the sea that had swallowed one of his companions, and his eyes filled with tears.
(5B). Read.